right. Like I said, I made a whole bunch of these at one time. They're not very big, but you can hang them on your door, and the Lord is the ultimate catcher of all things. Okay? That's all that means. That Jesus Christ is the ultimate catcher. And you see that in my finger? It's my ring finger. And I bend it. You see the cross there? I had to put a little something in so you can see it. The Lord told me He already gave me a ring. And I'm like, where? And I looked at it, and I thank God for that. It's on my ring finger. And it's just the way my finger naturally folds over. Just like that. Amulets. I'm going to speak about that tidbit today. The Potter here, telling you about amulets. Like I said, I made a whole bunch of these. At one time, the kids wanted, we can have one. Oh, I need one. Okay. And I still got a little time before I get back to work. So I'm going to tell you about that. It's hot as fish grease out here now. It is 84 degrees. And Florida sun. Okay. What I'm going to say is called amulets. Okay? Things people use to protect themselves from evil things that are coming over. Talismans, amulets, crystals. Oh my goodness. The list goes on and on. You can look it up. Things for protection people use. Okay, but the thing is this. You can have amulets all you want to, but you got to understand that it's not the amulet itself. Okay? Long time ago, I think I told you before in another video that I used to watch a lot of science fiction movies when I was growing up, and every now and then I might get one, but it's not like I used to watch it long time ago. But there's one movie that does stick out that made a lot of sense to me. I bought it a couple of years ago when it came out, and now it's on CD when it used to be on VHS. You think about that. That's a long time ago. Old movie called Fright Night. It's an old cheesy movie, a vampire movie. Everybody knows about that, and how the people run around screaming and all this other stuff like this. Okay, it's cool. It's a really cool movie. But let me tell you one thing. The reason why I bought that movie. Let me tell you why I bought it. The guy in the movie, his name was Peter Vincent, the great vampire slayer. Okay? And it was these young kids. I'm just going to give you a spoiler alert if you ever get it. I don't even know if they even print it or even make it anymore. But the kids went around the neighborhood and realized that there was a vampire that actually did live next door. He came in, he bought the house, and they saw hanky-panky going on, and they saw him bite somebody in the neck, and blood. It's just one of those movies, okay? Can't believe it. But anyway, they realized that this guy really is a vampire. And this guy named Peter Vincent played a vampire. He played a vampire on TV. But the kids watched the movie religiously. They thought he was really real. So they sought after Peter Vincent. And they finally came to his door, and they knocked on his door, and they said, "Hey, are you Peter Vincent?" And he says, "That's my stage name." "Are you the great vampire slayer?" They're like in high school. And he says, "Yeah, that's what I played, but, now they're fading out with that and going towards something else, and I guess they don't want me anymore." And they said, "We know that there's a real vampire living next door to us, and we're going to try to get you to kill it." And he says, whoa, whoa, wait a minute. I'm just a guy on TV. He was trying to explain that he's a TV guy. But Peter Vincent was getting squeezed out of his job. And the kids said, oh, we took our money together. We put our money in a big kitty. And we're going to give this money to you to go out and sop this guy out to see if he really is a vampire. And he says, well, how much is it? And they say, oh, we put together $800. And he says, I'll take it. Because he had nothing, because he was getting squeezed out. And the kid says, well, we're going over to the vampire's house. Okay? And we did a sort of like a welcome to the neighborhood kind of party kind of thing. Okay. So Peter Vincent said, well, these kids think I'm the real thing. I'll get my little vampire bag here with all the accolades that's in it. And I'm going to find out if this guy is real, blah, blah, blah. So they went over to the house, they had a little meal, and the vampire invited them in. But he didn't look like a vampire at all. He looked like a normal guy, So, and they had a meal, everybody ate and all this other stuff like this. And then something happened and they got on the discussion that there's people missing. And the boy let it out at the table that, we think that you're a vampire. And the vampire started laughing. But he didn't look like a vampire at all. And he says, that's crazy. He says, I know I do a lot of things in the dark, but that doesn't make anybody a vampire, blah, 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 blah. So they slipped him a piece of garlic. He ate the garlic up, and he says, boy, this is really garlic. Y'all really think I'm a vampire, right? And they did all the little accolades that's supposed to be showing that this guy is a vampire. It didn't work. So they was apt to leave the house, and he was saying, I'm sorry that the kids, they have a big imagination. He says, I'm sure they do. And he says, I'm sorry, I'll see you guys later. Then the vampire turned around and started chit-chatting to the kids. They started chit-chatting away. So, anyway, they chit-chatted to the kids, and Peter Vincent pulled out his mirror. And he was showing the mirror backwards like this. I know. Showed the mirror backwards. And he saw that the kids were talking by themselves. And when he looked back there, he saw the vampire. He looked in the mirror. He saw the kids talking by itself. And he looked back. And there was the vampire. So he dropped the glass. Clink, clink, across the floor. And he stepped on it. And the vampire looked up. Of course, he looks like a guy. And he says, what's wrong? He said, oh, that's okay. You dropped something. He said, that's all right. We'll get it cleaned up. And then when the guy left, when Peter Vincent left, he looked at the floor. And he saw there was a mirror. So that told him a lot. Wait one moment. Okay, so he looked on the floor, and it told him a lot. So, the kid says, yeah. And why are you running, Peter? Why are you running? He was outside. He was running to the car. He was ready to get in. He was trying to crank off. The kids, they stopped him at the door of the car and told him, why are you running? And he says, there was no reflection in the mirror of him. And they said, we know, Peter, we know. So, but you got to help us kill the vampire. And he speeded off. He got scared. And then the girlfriend was taken by the vampire. And to make a long story short, his girlfriend was taken by the vampire, and the vampire was going to kill the girl. And so he got Peter Vincent. He convinced him that, the guy is real. Just go up there and put a stake through his heart and throw a cross on him, and this will be done. So they got Peter Vincent. Peter Vincent went back, and the boy was pleading for him. He was almost crying, and the boy, all right. You got to see the whole movie now. Went back. He said, okay, I'll kill the vampire. So Peter Vincent came upstairs with this ginormous cross. He was sneaking into the vampire's house. He had this big old cross. He was holding it. Big. He went up the stairs. Peter Vincent went up the stairs. He was sneaking up the stairs. And the boy was behind him, like, we're going to go there, and we're going to kill this thing, and we're going to get my girlfriend back, and we're going to all run away and be happy. He got halfway up the stairs. Okay? Halfway up the stairs. Vampire looked down. He was eating an apple at the top of the stairs. And he says, oh, so I see that you came back. And Peter Vincent says, yes. And tonight, you're not going to live this night. Blah, blah, blah. The vampire started laughing. Peter Vincent didn't think it was funny. And the boy says, yeah, we're coming in to get my girlfriend from you. Blah, 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 blah. So as they was coming up the stairs, Peter Vincent pulled out of his carpet bag a big cross. About the size of this. It's bigger. A bit bigger than that. Think of that as a big cross. Thick, too. He was showing it to the vampire. It was silver. Shiny silver. And the vampire looked at it like, you know how vampires look. His teeth out. Now he's growing some things now. Then Peter Vincent went up the stairs with the big cross. Imagine this to be a big cross. And he shined it out towards the vampire. And the vampire went, ah, 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 ah. And Peter Vincent said, yeah, I got him. So the vampire reached up and he touched the cross. And his hand started to, you know, he's like, ah, ah. He was making all these noises. And Peter Vincent saying, good, he's going to sizzle in a few minutes and he's going to blow up. The vampire took that cross, big iron cross, and he crumbled it up. He made it he crumbled that cross as if it was made of tissue paper into a big ball. Very bigger ball. He crumbled that cross up to a big ball. Big ball. And then he threw it over the edge and it went way down at the bottom. Went tink, 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 it rolled around. And Peter Vincent was, because that's not supposed to happen. But the devil, being as cunning as he is, started laughing. And Peter Vincent, his mouth was open because that's amazing. How did he touch that thing and didn't blow up or sizzle or catch fire or something? And the vampire told him. This is what he said. This is what made me buy the movie. Not because of the cheesy people running around, you know, cutting and sucking themselves to the neighborhood and all that. But this really got me, what the vampire said. What devils would say. You have to have faith for that to work on me, Peter Vincent. You have to have faith for that to work on me. The kids that was getting these things here, they were trying to get these things here. And they said, I'll put this on my door and that's going to protect me. And I said, it's not this that's going to protect you. It's the faith in front of it, the faith behind it, the faith on the side, under the bottom of it. Okay? Under, top, side to side. You have to have faith for that to work. You think about that. You can have amulets. I've been in grocery store lines, and this one lady was telling me, oh, my boyfriend made me get a tattoo. Made you get a tattoo. And I didn't want nothing, so I got this big cross. She had a big old cross on her arm. She said, if I'm going to get anything, I better get that. That's going to protect me from everything out there. And then a lady cut in front of her. What the F? She's dropping the F-bombs all over the place. Why'd you cut in front of me? You witch. I'm like, there you go. That cross, it's just a cross. That cross don't mean nothing to her. But in her eyes, I get it for protection. And a lot of people get crosses for protection, tattooed on their body, but you're not supposed to have tattoos. But they're saying that it's a cross, so I guess that makes it okay to have, but what's the use of having it if you don't believe in it? So Peter Vincent had to go back. This is how the movie ended. He went back, he went to a church, and he got some faith. He studied the word of the Lord. And then he came back the second time. And here he goes up the stairs the same way as he went before. And this time he pulled out a wooden cross. A wooden one, a big one. It wasn't very big. The first one was bigger. That one, what he pulled out, was only about, this. It wasn't that big. He showed it to the vampire. The vampire hysterically started laughing, like, oh, didn't I just do this before? That ain't gonna do this. So he comes down the stairs. And when he touched that cross, his hand started to burn up. He couldn't let go of it. And then it went down his arm. And it went to his chest. And it went down and up. And his whole body was on fire. And he screamed. And he tried to fly away to turn into a bat. And as he was flying through the air, he caught on fire. And he burned up. You got to see the movie. You got to see it. But anyway, it's just an old movie. But all I'm trying to say, you have to have faith behind the cross. Faith in Jesus Christ. Faith in the Holy Spirit. Faith in God. He is three persons in one. If you can't believe that Jesus came back to save us from burning hell, this is it. This is it. And there's nothing after this. And are you ready? Because this is it. I'll leave links in the description of different verses that you put not your trust in. Don't put your trust in man, not in amulets and things, not in worldly possessions. Put it in Jesus Christ, the one that's going to save us all from burning hell. And not just save us, but to give us eternal life so we can be with him forever in paradise. All right, my time is up. Departer out.